Welcome back, everyone. A new season is upon us in the EPL, and Lerick and I decided to come back and have a chat about the season coming to us. We're back in lockdown as well in Melbourne, which ain't too fun for us at the moment. But it is what it is. We're getting used to it. Everyone's in lockdown these days, so we're very used to it. Now, Lerick, we're going to talk about just a few games today. Let's start off with the Man United game. United against United. Man United against Leeds United. Game and back in the day, a huge match. So, what are you thinking?
I think the match is not going to be as easy as people like. I think some people are making out to be. I know Man United are like second or third favorites because of the squad they've got, and I agree the first 11 is very good, but Sancho has not been training for too long. Varane's not even done he just did his medicals, I think, now. So the two signings pretty much don't count. You've got Rashford out. I think Cavani's not returned, which means we'll play with Martial. I don't think Pogba is completely fit as well, which means you go with McTominay, Fred, Bruno. So I don't think the team's it's pretty much the same team. In fact, a weaker team than last year is going to start because of the Pogba not being available, Cavani not being available, Rashford not being available. So I think, and there's not much strength on the bench to be able to. Maybe some of the guys will be on the bench, or that might be a good bench, but I feel like they'll have struggle winning that game as comfortably as we think. I still think they should win because they're still above Leeds with the rest of the squad. But I don't think they'll win as comfortably. It might be it's important to get a good start to the season, but it might be a draw as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you've got the great Tom Heaton who's come and joined you. He's going to be a brilliant addition to your squad. And of course, the biggest loss for you guys on day one is no Phil Jones. He's out with an injury too. So that must be devastating news. But you're right, mate. I think it's interesting. You've got quite a few injuries going into the first day of the season. I've got it up on another screen next to me, and it looks like you've got half of your squad decimated on injuries. There's a few people they're waiting on. I think Dean Henderson, Varane, Sancho is still a possibility, and of course Phil Jones is a possibility. But there's quite a few who are fully injured. So Rashford, Tellez, Lingard's not coming back. It looks like Cavani's not there, Bailly's not there. So that's a lot of injuries. That's the most out of any squad, I think, in the Premier League at the moment. For the first day of the season. I mean, you've got some great players in there, though. If Sancho does get a start, I think he'll want to set at the Premier League alight from day one. And I'm looking forward to seeing him and see how he plays. I hope he doesn't do very well, only for personal reasons, because I'm a Liverpool fan. But, we'll see how it goes, mate. I think it's going to be exciting. It's a little bit worrying seeing these players coming in.
I think if I have to put Man United squad in front of the top squads in the team, like obviously Liverpool is not refreshed, and that's why I'm not considering them for this part of the conversation. But Man United's first 11, probably I would say 10, not 11, because of the number 6 that we sort of lack to play with Pogba or whoever, like a DM or a holding midfielder. I think the top 3 teams, the first 11s are great. Think about Chelsea and their 11. Think about City and their 11, and Man United and their 11. They're the only suspect positions, the right back and I guess the centre back. And the only reason is maybe it gets better with Sancho. The right back kind of links with him. Who knows? But there is still the biggest suspect position in the middle. And on top of that, cherry to the cake, my thoughts about Solskjaer. I don't think he's tactically apt enough. I'm not saying he's not tactically sound at all. He has his ways. But I feel like he's not smart enough to maneuver this kind of.
For a few more years yet, mate.
Yeah, I feel like this season would be make or break. He might get sacked if he doesn't do well this season with the squad he's got. Because I mean, from a board perspective, they've put some money in the squad and they've made big signings, big name signings, even though they weren't all the signings they need. And maybe they'll make more. But I feel like if he doesn't make it this season, and if he doesn't win something potentially this season, if he does well, fair enough. But if he doesn't do well this season, if he has like one of those patches that he has a bad patch, he will absolutely get. I think he'll be hung out to dry, and he should. He absolutely should.
Yep. So your prediction though is in the first week. What do you think? You think Man United are going to come out steaming?
I'm going to be biased and say win, although my mind says it's a draw. but my heart says, because it's obviously when it comes to my team, so I'm going to say it's a Man United win.
I'll agree with you. I'd love it to be a draw, but I think Bielsa's squads are always brilliant, and the football he plays is fantastic, and we all love watching it. They haven't got any main team injuries, but I think Man United are going to probably try and stay on that high horse for a little bit after those signings, and probably come through with a win, maybe only by a goal or so, but we'll see. All right, perfect. Now moving on to Norwich against Liverpool. I'm excited because Liverpool have a great history against Norwich. We haven't lost to them since 1994 or 95. I just think back to the good old Suarez days, where every single time he played against Norwich, he scored a hat-trick. It's beautiful. And I'm hoping that Salah can come out and do that. He's going to be my captain in my fantasy Premier League team this week. So I think looking at the pre-season, it's been interesting how many players we've cycled through. I think we've only made one signing in Kanate so far, and we might not make any more. But I think Harvey Elliott coming back into that squad and seeing how good he is as a youngster, he's only 18 years old, and he's ripping it up. And I've seen some comparisons to him and Grealish, who's just gone for 100 million to Man City, and Grealish's stats when he was that age in the Championship were nowhere near as good as his stats were last season. So it's quite exciting for me. He's a really expansive player, very passionate about Liverpool, which I love, obviously. And I'd like to see him, coming through and doing well for us. I think Curtis Jones is out injured, which is not great news for us. I think with him and Robertson out injured as well, it's going to be a chance for a couple of others to come in. I think I was looking forward to Curtis Jones getting a few more starts this season. But if anyone else walks into that position, then we could be in trouble. Yeah.
Who do you think plays in so it's going to be a midfield of Fabinho, Thiago, and who do you think is the third person who?
Well, I think Henderson's definitely there. If it's starting, it's definitely those three. But if Henderson's out, which it looks like he might be for the first week, I think without Curtis, I think Harvey Elliott will come in there. So I think we'll see. Yeah, I think we'll see a youngster coming in ahead of Keita. Keita's been good pre-season though, so he's been looking like the kind of player he was when we signed him, which was very exciting. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. I think that midfield three is going to be very interesting. I'm happy Firmino's still in the squad, but a lot of Liverpool fans aren't. But I am very happy. I'm a big fan.
It's important for you guys to see Mane and Firmino fire. If they don't fire again, if they draw a lot of blanks again this season, it's going to be hard for you to win it. I consider, I don't know, many people have decided that Liverpool is not going to be number one, but I still think that they can very well win it. No problems. They've got whatever they lacked last season and whatever they had the previous season. When they won it, they got it back now. So I don't see how they're going to lose unless something like last season happens again, especially if Van Dijk actually lasts for the entire season and plays each and every game. That makes a big difference. And I think with Klopp being the manager he is, like, he brings out better from his squad than what the squad actually is, in stark contrast to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But I think that'll be interesting. So I think important for your forward lines to fire up. I had a question. Who do you think will play instead of Robertson?
Tsimikas. Tsimikas. Yeah, I think he'll get a chance, and I'm very happy for that because he signed with us last season and really didn't get a chance. Like he didn't get a chance was it last season or a season and a half ago? Either way, he hasn't really had a chance because Robertson's been that good. And he hasn't gotten injured at all. He's just been so consistent in playing. But it was bound to happen. The amount of hours he's putting on the field, and then the amount of hours he's put in for Scotland too. It's it's a huge amount of time. So he's now obviously off injured. I'm glad it's not a long-term injury, but we'll see. Yeah. But yeah, I think Liverpool will win this one. I'm hoping for a win by at least a couple of goals. I'm thinking.
The only thing that sort of is in my mind is because most of your assists come from those two areas, right back and left back. I feel like while Robertson is gone, Tsimikas is there. Unless I don't know something, he might be a downgrade on Robertson, obviously, because he's still learning. So there's going to be some creativity need that will still require that Liverpool still require, and I think they're going to fall short a little bit not going to affect the Norwich game or at all. Norwich will be fine. Norwich, you should really easily win. But if they've got any tough games, I don't know the fixtures of the top of my head, but if you've got any tough games in the first 3 games at all?
Burnley the second week. I'll have a look after that because I'm not 100% sure. Oh, yes, we've got 29th of August, we've got Chelsea. So that'll be good.
That's what I thought there was going to be a tough game straight after. I remember I was seeing it. That's why I think that's going to be hard if they're not back, basically.
Yeah, I agree. I think it will be. I think Thiago in the middle now, he's settled. He's a more creative player as well there and can supply. And of course, having Van Dijk at the back with his ridiculous long ball is going to be great. But anyway, enough about Liverpool. Do you think it's going to be a Liverpool win there as well? Or
yeah, easy. Yeah. No question.
All right, let's talk about the big game of the weekend because not either of our teams, but it's a huge match. And that's Tottenham against City. Both of us didn't even think about that. We were wondering who's playing in the top 6, what we should talk about. And then we saw it was Tottenham and City. What a game. Great opening game for the season for the neutral fan to see, I think. And I think, the Tottenham manager's going to want to come out and make an impression. But how can you against Pep's teams? It's going to be hard, isn't it?
This is again my mind saying that this might not be a clear-cut win for City, but I feel like it's City. Like if there's one team with no excuse, that's City. So I feel like because their second 11 could be winning the league. So I don't see that there is a reason why they shouldn't win it. Albeit like the only reason why it's casting doubts in my mind about whether they'll win it is because Tottenham's had their full squad minus Kane practice throughout the preseason. However, City's only had their squad back this week, I think this week or last week. So they would have had less than a week to practice. So they can't come on and get with most of their players. He played his preseason with under 22 and a few under 22 players in there. So I feel like if he has a squad, no chance, right? There's no chance Tottenham's going to survive that. Yep. But if he doesn't have a squad, they're going to struggle to win it comfortably. They should still win it, but
they've obviously not got Aguero anymore. And no matter what anyone says, that guy is a legend. He's a brilliant footballer. He's going to be missed by that club. They haven't got De Bruyne and they haven't got Foden. We've got to remember that too. So their firepower in that squad used to come from Aguero, Foden, and De Bruyne. Really, that was a lot of their firepower. They've got.
I would say not last season. Not last season from Aguero.
No, not last season. But I'm saying in general, that's where a lot of it came from. And without him, they've got to rely on Jesus. And obviously, the big question is: does Kane sign before the game? And does he go? Does he end up at City? Because if he does, I actually think Tottenham could win the game. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's the kind of thing that you could imagine happening because the Tottenham team will be furious about it. That it'll give them more passion to go out there. I doubt that will happen, but you never know. Like it's one of those talking.
I think if Kane's gone there, it's dead for everyone in terms of the league. So I think that's a walkover. Yeah. If Kane's gone there, they should be bloody winning the Champions League if they weren't such butlers. But if Kane, regardless, I think you were right in terms of saying De Bruyne, Foden, and but at the same time, last year Aguero wasn't there for most of the season, or wasn't used even when he was back. So they've managed or learned how to live without Aguero. And then if you think about Foden, he probably played about 30 games last season out of the 38, and there were a few that he didn't get assists. So I think they've got 2-3 people. They got Mahrez, they got Sterling, they got Jack Grealish who can replace Foden now. So they've got a bunch of people on there. If De Bruyne doesn't play, then they've got the likes of Rodri. They've got to hold along with Gundogan, and they've got Bernardo Silva. I think they'll be okay.
You keep talking, can't you? Like it's just so much, and even some of their youngsters. That a lot of the guys who are coming through in that squad are just ridiculous. They're so good. So if you keep talking about them and keep mentioning.
It should be. So for me, it's a Man City win. Or possibly they usually start slowly, but I'm going to go with a Man City win. I'm not sitting on the fence a lot on this one. I've just decided we'll go for one thing or the other, but I could see this as a draw as well. But I reckon it's a Man City win.
Yeah, I think a 1-0 City. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game, but I think it won't be a 1-0 game. It'll be a 1-0 score. I think it'll be quite a dominant game. I actually don't think Tottenham are going to have enough.
Yeah, they'll dominate with the ball.
Yeah. All right. So briefly touching, if we want to talk about any points here, but we've got Brentford, Arsenal, and Chelsea, Crystal Palace, of course, and Leeds, Wolves. Is there anything you wanted to talk about with any of those? Are they going to be walkovers? I think Arsenal aren't going to win. I think that will be a draw.
I was going to say the same thing. I think Brentford is going to give Arsenal like a run for their money. Chelsea should easily sweep Crystal Palace away. They'll win it. Albeit they've got a new manager and stuff like that, so they might have something to prove. But realistically, they should win it easily. Champions of Europe, they just won their next Super Cup, whatever. So they should really easily win it. They're hard in confidence. Arsenal on the other hand, I know they've made a few signings, Ben White and whatnot. I think that'll improve them a little bit, I guess. But I don't think that I don't think they're going from 8th to 4th, for example, or whatever they were to 4th. I feel like they'll be struggling in mid-table again.
They're going to struggle in midfield because they've got no Thomas Partey. He's out injured, so that doesn't help, does it? And then, even if he's playing average, he's still better than half of their midfielders, to be honest, in that squad. Yeah. And then they've got no Nketiah, and De Santos is also out injured. So they've got a couple of injuries there to that first team squad.
Saka playing this season?
Yeah. Hopefully he'll be back and playing. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. And then Leicester's the other one for me. Just briefly touching on, I hope we see some more good football from them. I think this first game, I think it's going to be a walkover for them. I don't think Wolves are going to stay with the pace this year at all. But I may be wrong. We've got a couple of players are back from injury, long-term injury in that squad too. So we'll wait and see. But that's about it. Now, obviously, Everton, Southampton, Watford, Aston Villa, Brighton, Burnley, Brighton, and Newcastle, West Ham are the other games. Don't think there's going to be anything too surprising with those matches, but we'll wait and see how the teams deal with things and how they go. I think Tuanzebe going from United to Aston Villa, I think that's a great signing for them. It's only on loan, but I think he's a brilliant defender and I think he'll do a good job. And then you guys will probably get him back next season or something, but we'll wait and see. All right, perfect.
Yeah, it's good. There's still a few days of the transfer window, and there still could be some after effects of some moves that might come. Kane might happen, obviously, which is the big one. Who knows? It'll be interesting, whatever it is. And I can't wait for the next 2 days of the season to finally start, which will be finally something else to look forward to during the weekend.
Yeah, it's me. I've loved the Olympics, but it would be nice. There's no sport on right now, so it would be nice to have some football back again. It's good. It was good to have the championship back the other day, and I was watching some of that on the highlights on YouTube and stuff. All right, guys. Well, we're going to be back with a few more videos soon, so keep an eye out for some videos. For now, we're out of here. So, ciao.